All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in a galaxy far, far away. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Choices of One by Timothy Zahn. This is part of the Star Wars Legends universe. In fact, it is a companion book to his novel Allegiance, which I reviewed last month. And these two books fit somewhere in between Star Wars A New Hope and Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. And so that's kind of where they fit in the timeline. But anyway, we'll put this one over here because we are talking about this one. Let's discuss the cover first. It came out in 2011, so a while ago. The cover was done by a great illustrator named Daryl Mandrake. I think that's it. Mandrake? I don't know. Let me see. Daryl Mandrake. This is cool. I like it. It's a great cover illustration of one of our main characters, Mara Jade. And then we've got some nice wraparound, some stormtroopers on the back. It was pretty dope. Not only that, but I've met Timothy Zahn several times at different book events and Comic-Cons that I've been to. I've sat on writing panels with the man, and yeah, he signed it. I always show off my signed books. So, what is this book about? Well, it's kind of, like I said, kind of a bit of a companion book to this one. 8 months after wait, where, let me see here. When does this one, no, 8 months after, I'm thinking it's 8 months after the Battle of Yavin. That's the word I was looking for, the Battle of Yavin, which was at the end of Star Wars, where the Death Star blew up, Well, that's the first Star Wars movie. It happens 8 months right after that. Where the rebels are searching for a new base of operations, because Yavin is no longer, a viable place. Even though the Death Star got blown up, the Empire still knows where they're at. So they're out searching for a new place. Of course, we know they eventually find Hoth. But before that, there's some things that happen. Lots of things, and this book fills in some of the gaps. The rebels, so Governor, it starts with Governor Farios, I think is his name, of the Candoris sector. He proposes an alliance between himself, his planets, and the rebels. And he's like, but in exchange, I can give you sanctuary, rebels, if you help me fight off this evil warlord that's terrorizing us and is intent on invading the Candoris area. And so Luke, Han, and Leia, they go off to negotiate this sort of deal that has been proposed. Not only that, but what happens is Mara Jade, who is one of the coolest characters in the Star Wars universe, who is also the star of this book also, she is also headed to Candoris with, now Mara Jade, just so you know who she is the Emperor's hand. Sort of like in Game of Thrones, how Robert Baratheon, the king, had his hand. And the hand of the king was Ned Stark, and then Ned Stark, spoiler alert for Game of Thrones, Ned Stark wasn't the hand of the king for very long, and then the hand of the king became Tyrion Lannister, and then, and so on and so on. If you've seen Game of Thrones, you know what Hand of the King means. But anyway, Mara Jade is Hand of the Emperor. And she is also sent to Candoris with 5 renegade stormtroopers. And that's where all the action and fun happen. It's just a great start. That's all I'm going to give for the plot, because once all those characters kind of get in the same area, it all sort of turns into action adventure. Sword fights, well, laser sword fights, and laser fights, and spaceships and starships and all the Star Wars glorious things that we love, and lots of betrayals and backstabbings and adventure ensue. It's just a cool little book. Now, here's my honest opinion. I've got all of the Star Wars Legends books right there. It's kind of my guilty pleasure reading the Star Wars Legends books. I consider them canon over the Disney universe stuff. Although the Mandalorian stuff was cool, and the Boba Fett, I kind of liked that stuff, Andor, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. And I liked The Force Awakens. I liked Rogue One. I actually liked the Han Solo movie. I think it was the other two movies that kind of made me not really a fan of the Disney. It was what was it, the Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi. Those are the ones that I was just like, what the fuck? Anyway. As far as this goes, to be honest, this is a book that takes place in between two Star Wars movies, as was this one. It dimmed my enjoyment a little bit. I don't know if I really wanted to read anything about those characters, anything about these characters that happened between the movies. And there's another one called, I think it's Shadows of Empire, that takes place by Steve Perry, that takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And I remember reading that a long time ago in the 90s and quite liking it, but I was just like, do I really need to know what happened to these people between? And so I was kind of like, I'd like to know what happened to them prior to New Hope, and I like knowing what happens to them after Return of the Jedi. I don't know if I like these little filler novels that fill in the gaps between the big major movies. This is just my personal opinion. But that being said, it was a fun book to read. I give it like about a 7 out of 10. And so that is my review of... So I did my review of Allegiance last month and my review of Choices of One this month. And that is that, folks.